Guys, my name is Bihama, and I'm also I'm a driver. I drove for Lyft and Uber for I think about 2 years. I recently wrote a book sharing about my experience. And the book you can find it on Amazon. Just type in my name, which is Bihama Vedaste, or the title of the book is more than just a job, the experiences of a ride share driver. So today is August 27. Right now it's 9 p.m. I am going to share about my view or the give details of what I believe should the Prop 22 or Proposition 22, which is a measure on the ballot in November, and the Assembly Bill number 5, which was voted last year, I believe. It talks about it make all ride sharing or gig economy. Basically, these are the people or drivers who do Uber or Lyft or delivery people. So here we go. So some house cleaning first. I would have made a pre-recorded video, but since I want to engage with each and everyone, and also get receive questions. So please, if you have a question or comment, feel free to type in your question. I will be happy to answer after the presentation. So fast forward. Um, not before I forget, I will be trying to limit the presentation to 20 minutes. And I think as I shared on my Facebook page yesterday, I will be doing different presentation. And once my book is officially on especially the ebook is out on Saturday, I will be now reading with readers with those who will be able to get my book. If you also need a discount or any promotional, please send me a message. For autographed book, of course, I will be passing by as Corona slows down or as time and circumstances allow. All right. So first thing first, the Assembly Bill number 5 make all gig economy workers employees. However, I want us to the difference between an employee and a contractor. So there are a number of differences really between employee and contractors. So when you are an employee, you have a fixed salary. If you are paid per hours, it's the same thing. You will have to work 8 hours. Anything after that, it's overtime, and usually company pays more money for that. So there is a fixed time off. In every year, you have a fixed hours or a fixed number of days that you can get your time off, like vacation. So for some it's 18 days, some others it's a month. So depending on the company and circumstances that each and every employee negotiate. So they also benefit, which is like a health benefit and an insurance, unemployment insurance. I think I mentioned the health and some other support that employee get. There is also stronger protection, which means most employees will be a part or members of union. So which means definitely you can just get fired that easily because your boss will have to negotiate with the union. So those are the key benefit of being an employee. So now let's go to the contractors. So a contractor is just a contract, which means anytime somebody the parties in the contract can end it, or sometimes the person offering you the contract can end it. So basically you have that flexibility, or maybe I should be more clearer. The flexibility in the salary means you can make more or less, or you can choose to make more based on the agreement you have with your employer or with the person who gave you the contract. There is also flexibility in time. So, for example, I was driving, or when I'm driving, yeah, sometimes I can just sleep in until 9 o'clock, and I just wake up, shower, or maybe even go to exercise, and then just get into my car around 9 or 10 or even 11. With that, let's say if I decided to drive 6 hours today, I can start 12 until 6, or I can start at 2 until 8. I can start at 5 until 11, or I can even start 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So there's just that amazing flexibility. So consequently, there is no benefit. So you don't get that protection we mentioned on the employee side. You don't get that time off, because if you have time off, it means you won't get paid. So there is also less protection, because you can form a union. So because you are just under a contract. So those are the advantages and disadvantages of being a contractor. So the assembly bill, I was trying to find an email I received from my state senate representative when he was arguing, but I received an email from Lyft and Uber. They were encouraging me to, right before they voted on this law. They encouraged me to talk to my senator to make sure that he voted against it. Unfortunately, when I signed it, it didn't work, because basically it did get to him, but when he responded, he said no, he didn't want, because we needed protection, which surprised me, because I should be the one asking for protection. I don't think he should be the one fighting for my protection. So with that, I really don't want to go into the politics and the description of each and every uh, detail in Assembly Bill 5. The same goes with Prop 22. Prop 22, I'm not going to go into details that much. So I am just go straight into the driver. So should drivers be employees or contractors? So some of the issues when you are a driver, especially like when you're driving like me, for driving for Lyft or Uber, or you deliver for DoorDash or Instacart, there are some of the issues are like, what when you are sick, or when I'm sick. When I'm sick, I have to fend for myself. If my car breaks down, I have to fend for myself. When I get involved in an accident, the only thing this company gave us is they pay 75% of the money, and then basically of the benefit, and then the rest if you have insurance. So that's why they require you to have insurance, your own insurance, and then they cover the rest. So it's a very complicated process, which I believe maybe they should be able to cover the full insurance. There is no retirement benefit or retirement plan just because we are contractors. There is no unemployment benefit, which is why you saw during the coronavirus when the stimulus, law was being worked on. It was hard for actually for drivers to be considered, but eventually we were able to be allowed. No health benefit, basically, which means if you had an accident, you must have your own insurance. If not, you go to the doctor, you will have to fend for yourself. So these are some of the issues that I can highlight that I believe drivers see as drivers we have every day. So now you might be then, if there is risk, why would I even drive if there is a such this the risk this of such magnitude? So there are reasons why people drive. So one, for example, most of us, like say me included, after I graduated from school, for example, I couldn't go to medical school. I applied here and there, but it takes a long time to respond. Then when I tried to apply for a job, it also took longer, and I couldn't even get a job. So which means what did I have to do? So I had to look for something else to do. So I started as a transition as a transitional employment, which means I really didn't have to be full time, or I just needed to make some money to survive. Then some others, including those who I gave rides, they actually gave rides. They were also Uber drivers. Some of them were engineers working at Google, working at Facebook, Apple, and other tech companies around here. But they will tell him, "Hey, I drive in the weekend." So because they just don't have anything else to do in the weekend, so they just get in the car and drive to make money. Then some others also are people who are like retired, some others who didn't have a chance to go to school and they just realized that this is actually a good opportunity to make money. So because of that, they are driving even full time. Like for example, I know one of my classmates at the university, her father bought a house from driving. So he's a retired man, which means the driving is the lifeline, his lifeline. So definitely he need, like, talking of protection, he definitely needs protection. But of course, we're going to discuss about it if you in a few minutes. So the conclusion on this point is we drive for different reason and therefore solution should be different. So what the assembly bill 5 number 5 says actually assume is that every single driver drive for the same reason. And as I just explained, some people drive as a transition, others drive as side job, and others drive as full-time job. So therefore we have different reasons why we're driving, and therefore the solution should be also different. So let me just get my tablet working. Okay. So now, what are the benefits of driving? So the benefit, one of the most talked about benefit of driving is flexibility. I recently was following some of the ads. These the Prop 22 are releasing. They are referring to a lot about flexibility, which is absolutely true. The flexibility comes both on the side of the driver and on the side of rider, or those who are using it to go to work or to go to the doctor or to go visit their friend. The flexibility with them is, if we remember before Uber or before Lyft, it was hard. I remember I used a taxi. I was living in Santa Clara and I had to go check on an apartment in downtown San Jose. And it was a very straight uh, trip, which means you just come through El Camino, the Alameda, and you get downtown. Surprisingly, the guy has to go through 17, went to 280, exit on 280, no, went to 280, straight to Almaden, exited on Almaden, came back again on Santa Clara, and he go downtown. Really? So there were also the other thing too. You had to call. There was no app. You have to call, and calling was a headache, and you have to wait. So the flexibility on the side of riders or people who are using ride sharing to work or others. So it definitely, these companies brought flexibility in that regard. So now the flexibility in term or on the part of the driver. So when people mention flexibility, I believe, or from what I have been listening into people I give, right, they're asking me about this law. They think the flexibility is just about me being able to shut down when I want, going to work when I want. No, it's not just about that. There is the flexibility comes in two ways. One, there is flexibility about time. Then there is flexibility about money. So let's begin with time. So when I shared a few minutes ago, I can choose when I go to drive. I can sleep in. I have a niece and a nephew. When my niece has an appointment, I just go to the doctor, come back, and okay, so the whole morning I'm gonna be at the doctor. No problem. I will come, type, sit on my laptop. By the way, I have a startup which is already starting. We are just trying to get now investors. So, but I will share eventually when time comes. So I got time to sit and coding and typing and studying, taking some classes online. So there are a lot of things I can do on my own, and still I can go out and make money. So anytime. So, and it also for me, my favorite part is I'm able to be useful, to helpful to people. There are people out here who need help. Those or elders who need to go to the hospital. Like my friend Jim in San Francisco. He's homeless, and I have worked with him for a long time. So, or there is another friend of mine, homeless, Eric. He used to play for the San Diego Chargers. Actually, his story was featured in the San Francisco Chronicles few days ago. So I got time to go there and actually be useful for them because I know I can work in the morning and just go there in the afternoon. So the time flexibility, and as I said, time off, I don't need time off anytime. If you call me for an emergency and I'm dropping somebody, I just drop the last person and I shut down and I go my way. So there is a lot you can talk about in terms of time. So there is now the flexibility of money. That's number two. So I was think about this for a second. When you get a job, you sign in the contract. If you are a salaried person, they will say every month you will be getting $5,000, and that's it. It's 5,000 plus comps, which is compensation, and that's it. So what happens is when you are sick or when your car breaks down, your budget get overstretched. Or what happened, like us who have families spread around the world. What happened when somebody gets sick over there and they need a surgery for $2,000, and yet your apartment rent is 2,000. So you have that confine when you are an employee. But when I'm driving, for example, I'm just gonna share a personal experience. In 2018, in September, I got a call. There is this child in Kenya that I adopted. I basically I didn't I do- she he doesn't live with me, but basically I took responsibility to take care of him. But he lives with his poor uncle. So I got a call that he got arrested. And in Africa, things work in just a crazy way. So that I can share here. So what ended? So when I looked, I didn't have the money. I had been building a house in Africa, and I had $400. The ticket from here, I fly with Emirates. The ticket from here is about $2,000. And going there, I need a car rental, and the car rental over there it's very expensive. For me, I get it for like $90 a day. It's not in a week. Like here, actually, I can get a car rental for $20 a day. So even 15, depending on the days. So what I did actually, I called them and I said, hey, just be calm. I'm going to come next week. Within 3 days, I had already bought the ticket. You must, oh, how did you buy it? I drove 12 hours every day. And on my lucky days, I made about between 400 and 500, 600. Then with the 400 I bought the ticket within 3 days. Then for the next 4 days, I did the same thing. I prayed so hard. Basically, of course, it was very tiring, but at the same time, it was worth it because I was trying to go save my boy. So, as I always say, his name is Victor, by the way. So, by then, within 7 days, I already got enough money for me to buy the ticket, to go there, help my boy, get him out of jail, and come back here within a week. So now let me ask you a question. If you were an employee, would you have gone to the boss and tell him, hey boss, I'm sorry, but I need at least 5,000 loan, please? Yes, I know some company do have something like that, but I don't think they will go to that extent. So the point being that the flexibility with money making. So there is just that privilege you have, that you can make any money you want anytime. So of course, with this corona thing, it's very difficult to make money, but let's say before that, you have that flexibility. So in short, the flexibility comes in two package. There is time where you have time to do your thing, time to support, time to help communities. And by the way, you don't have to rush to go clock in or out. So that's a fact. So then you also have the money part, which means you can make any money you want anytime. So, and by the way, most of the time when I started driving too, another personal experience, I ran out of money because bills were just too high, and my credit wasn't good for me to get even a credit card. So I would drive more, and then like I would drive today and I will pay my electric bill. Drive tomorrow, I will pay my phone bill. Drive after tomorrow, like every day I will drive and pay a bill, a different bill. So within 5 days, all my bills were gone. So that's what I can share about uh, the I can share about the flexibility. So now, what is the effect of the Assembly Bill number 5 if it actually goes into law? There are different issues that this law will bring in order. The first one being that there will be fewer drivers on the road. The reason is, if you imagine, as we said, when you have a regular job, you know your boss knows that at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock you clock in and you leave at 5. But that's because there's a computer in front of you, or they know they will always be watching you. Remember, when you are driving for you're driving or delivering, people are not there waiting. Sometimes you will go and get many rides, but some others you might not. And these guys have actually, I'm talking about this ride sharing or delivery company. They have figured a way that they can actually show you that this time is going to be busy, this time is not going to be busy. But that's not the point. The point is, if your boss sits there to watch you with that when you are working, how imagine how Uber will do that? Because Uber make or Lyft make or Instacart or DoorDash make money because you are driving somebody, not because you are driving just for the sake of driving. So if you're not making money, then how does Uber pay you or pay me? Or let's say, let me just say, use me. How does Uber pay me when they are not making money? So it's basically like telling your boss, or for those of you who have a job, hey boss, I'm not gonna show up, or I'm gonna show up, but I'm not gonna do anything, but you still have to pay me. I don't think the boss will agree with that. I don't think the boss will like that. So with that in mind, I think it's fair to say that the effect of this law will be enormous on the side of the companies. On the side of the drivers, I think yes, it's safer because even if no one is in the car, you will still get paid. But how will the company be able to pay? So that's the question number one. Then you got fewer drivers now on the road, because if everybody is afforded the benefit, it means these companies will spend a lot of money. And think about a driver who is in Giroy, for example. I know Giroy the Uber is extremely slow. So if you are in Giroy, so you have maybe 100 people busy here in San Jose, but you also have 10 or 20 people stuck in Giroy, or in Salinas, or in Sacramento, or somewhere. So they are not going to be able to afford to get the money to actually cover for those people. So with that, what they will do, just like any other company, that's why companies are tight when they're hiring. They choose the best candidate because they know this one person will stand in for 3 people. That's why you have to go for a job interview. Otherwise, they would just call 10 people, say, "Hey guys, you need to share this job. Don't worry about it. There's a shortage of work." So, but they can't do that because they have to choose the best. So that will be an issue. So what that will do, when fewer drivers on the road, it means the riders now will have to wait longer, or some places Uber won't totally, or Lyft won't be. there. They were just shut down. Like the emails we're receiving before the court ruling the other day. So we were being told that the apps were shut down. So now imagine going back to the old ways when you have to call Euro Cab, and then you have to wait for an hour, or even they don't even show up, or they don't even know where you are. So, and you're not even connecting. The drivers can only call you. It's definitely a headache. I don't think any of us is willing to to go through that. Then there is also the issue with money. Frankly, let me just give myself as an example. I have two children I support in their day to day, like this means their school fees, their living cost, and the family that are hosting them because they are in Kenya. I have my other extended family. I have my uncle. I have my aunties. All those guys want money. So if I was to have a job, the chances of me attending to all of those people is gonna be so slim because my rent is over 2,500. If I were to get a job, the most I can get as a biochemistry major is about between 7 to 9,000. But if you do the numbers, considering that I have a car, I have my sister, I have my niece and the nephew, I have my other sister, I have my personal expenses, then that's not gonna be enough. So with that, the family will lose on income. And by the way, the example I gave you about my classmate whose dad is actually bought a house, you can imagine maybe he might not be selected. What do you think will happen to the house? It's either going to be foreclosed because he is already a retired person. So those are some of the consequences that this law will bring. So drivers will have, and also uh, the other issue on the side of the driver, it will be difficult because just like you go to job at 9 to 5, the Uber or Lyft will dictate when you go to work. So basically, uh, they are going to they are going to they are going to tell they are going to sorry, my sister just distracted me. So basically, what's going to happen, Uber will simply tell you, oh, Bihama, don't come to work. You will work at 12 o'clock in the morning because that's when we know people will be there. But that's not what I want after all. I want to drive on a daytime because I love sleeping. But then there is another person who likes to drive in the night, and yet there will be only people on a daytime, which means Uber will simply tell them, no, you are supposed to drive on a daytime. So that's extremely inconvenient, in an extreme inconvenience, and I don't think any of us would want to do that. So then, of course, there are some areas where the Uber will, this ride sharing or delivery people will close because there are just simply not many people, which means those drivers will have to go home. And then the riders will have to wait longer or to even have to walk distances to get a bus, or they just will have to call a cab, which will force them to wait longer. Or they would, in as a result, you will either have a choice to buy your own car or just sit home and wait taxi. So I think those are the few things I can say. There are probably many other things you can talk about it, but I think this the best summary I could get. So in conclusion, I think based on the discussion, I believe the best solution to all this, which I believe as we vote in November, we should think about. We need to think about the community including drivers, and the community including riders, like people who are using it, and the companies themselves. So one of the best way I believe this should be resolved should be that drivers should, when they sign up, or for us who are already on the platform, we should make a choice. So when we sign up, we get asked three things: are you driving full time or you are driving part time? Then, if you choose to drive full time because of circumstances, then the companies will definitely have to cover you as a full time employee. But then, For those of us who are not interested into being full timers because we have other things or other goals to do in life, then we money. Uh, we I make enough money that I pay my health insurance, my life insurance, all my bills. So I really don't need the protection to be set on schedule. So with that, I think that should be a benefit that should be let between drivers and the companies. Then those who are full time definitely afford them the benefit just like any other full time employee. Just give them the health, the health benefit, accidental unemployment, protect the families. Because, for example, and I always see accident on the road. When you have an accident, it's the ugliest scene. There are some ugly scenes I've seen on the road. So definitely a special protection should be put into consideration. There are also other things I believe this company should work on, particularly in anyone who drives. Because when you say your insurance will cover 75% of the car, and yet somebody has committed their lives and their resources and the effort into getting to work, it's definitely not fair. So I think the insurance should cover 100%. Maybe our own insurance should just be interfering, should come in to fit in, maybe for over extended stay in the hospital, for example, or some extras, or for our personal, like if I'm not driving for Uber, if my app is not on, definitely I need the protection, which means that insurance, my private insurance, will be able to cover that. Other than that, I think this company should uh, should cover 100% of insurance. Another thing I believe they need to work on, or they need to fix, is when the drivers are sick. Like for example, during coronavirus. Yes, there was definitely good initiative between Lyft and Uber. When they said when you were sick, you were going supposed to get some money, so stipend, maybe let me call it, which was definitely a very good thing. But I think that should be in their policy that if a driver is sick, or if a driver has get into an accident and is not working, or is not working because it's the company's fault, definitely there are sometimes really these people mess up for sure. Sometimes I can't tell you how many days I wake up and my app is not simply not working, and then oh, somebody said this, and in the end it's not true. Actually, you will find that in my book, which is why I would encourage to read my book. You will see that. So things like that, definitely, let's say they should cover incidental insurance that will afford drivers just that cautioning to recover once they fell down. I think also the wear and tear of the car, the maintenance of the car, sometimes it's too high. I'm just advocating for, especially for those who are driving this massive SUV like Uber Black, or these luxury cars. The maintenance is so high. I think they should definitely have this company should have a way to support in maintenance. I believe there is an effort to that direction, but I think it need to come faster. So I think that's what I can say. I can share about this proposition. And I think if anyone has a question, you can just type in a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer. And by the way, I need also to share, today is the first day my YouTube channel was working. For the rest 2 days, I couldn't put it up because they said they were still verifying some stuff. So on this channel, I'm going to be reading the book once I get it on tomorrow, I believe, the hard copy. And I'm also going to be sharing my experiences of my decision making processes when I decided to drive, and some of the harshest decision I had to make when I was driving, and how I started. I developed an idea because of driving, how I got advices, and how I put together a team, and now we are almost an operational company. So I'm going to be sharing those tips and also sharing some ideas on how actually people like me, younger people, or even or older, need can actually come up with their own ideas, develop them, and actually start a company. So those are the kind of things. I'm also going to use it to target youth, because I'm always interested in youth, because a vibrant and a smarter and active youth community will always produce a vibrant community. Definitely, I'm also going to be sharing different ideas and some questions. Of course, also, when people bring me some ideas to discuss about, I will be discussing about them. And also, when the books people start reading more and ask questions, I will be answering them here. So I think that's I will stop here. If any question, please feel free to put it in the comment. Thank you so much for following, for listening in. I wish you a good night, a good morning for those who are waking up. Bye bye. Thank you. Okay, yes.